You know when you're watching a great English TV show, maybe a movie, or even just a talk online, and you think, wow, I wish I could speak just like that. So natural, so easy. It's that feeling of wanting to move past textbook English, right? To sound, well, more like a native speaker. A lot of us feel that way. Well, you're definitely in the right place today. We're going to take a big step towards that with this deep dive we call Real Talk English. Our whole mission here is to help your English sound more authentic, more confident, and how? We're going to jump right into how people really talk using a fantastic show, Desperate Housewives. Specifically, Season 1, Episode 2, the one called But Underneath.
Cool. Now, learning English like this, it's got some amazing benefits. First, you hear natural speech, like really natural, not stiff textbook stuff.
Exactly. It's the rhythm, the everyday words people actually use.
Right. And second, you get these little cultural insights. You start to pick up on how words are used in real life, which tells you a bit about the culture, too.
And let's be honest, it's also just more fun, isn't it? Oh, way more fun. Much better than just memorizing vocabulary lists.
Definitely.
So here's our goal for today.
Yeah.
By the end of this, you'll walk away with 10 really useful new expressions, things you can actually use in your own conversations. These aren't just words. They're tools, really. Tools to help you sound more natural, feel more confident. So ready to dive in.
Yeah, I think what's great about using shows like Desperate Housewives is how they reflect, everyday situations. Language isn't just about facts. It's about emotion, social stuff, things left unsaid sometimes. And these expressors, they're like the building blocks for that real world talk. They give you a window into how native speakers actually connect.
Absolutely. And once you know them, you'll start noticing them everywhere. It's like unlocking a new level of understanding. Okay, let's kick things off. Our first expression is let him. So in the show, Gabrielle is complaining about this business guy Carlos knows. He's being, well, inappropriate. And Carlos just says, if he wants to grab your ass, you let him. Yeah. So the basic meaning of let him is just to allow something. But here, there's a real nuance. What's it telling us about how Carlos feels?
That's a really good point, because let him or let her often implies this resignation, or maybe just acceptance, even if it's not great.
Right.
It's kind of like saying, okay, fine, not worth fighting about, just let it happen. Imagine, say, your friend wants you to try some really weird food. You're not keen. Another friend sees you hesitating, but the first friend is persistent. They might just shrug and say, if he really wants you to try it, let him.
Okay, I see.
It's casual, good for small annoyances.
Yeah.
But, like Carlos, your tone can make it sound really dismissive, like you don't care about the other person's feelings at all.
That tone thing is so important in English, isn't it? Okay, speaking of strong reactions, let's look at number 2. Freak out. So the women find this mysterious note, right? And they're debating, should they tell Paul, Mary Alice's husband? Yeah. They're worried because he's grieving. Someone says, he's still mourning, Susan. He'll probably freak out. So freak out basically means to get super upset or anxious or angry. Suddenly, maybe uncontrollably. Why is this phrase so common? And when should we maybe not use it?
Well, it's super common because it just perfectly captures that sudden, intense burst of emotion, Very short, very punchy.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're rushing out the door for school and bam, you realize your big project is still sitting on your desk.
Oh, no.
You might yell to your friend, oh my gosh, the teacher's going to totally freak out when I tell her.
Right.
It's very informal, great for friends, family, but because it's so strong and informal, yeah, you'd avoid it in, say, a job interview or a serious work meeting.
Definitely not boardroom language.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's explore being in the dark. The women are deciding, should they investigate this note or just forget it? One asks, isn't it worse to be in the dark, imagining she did all these horrible things? So in the dark, it means you don't know something important, right? Especially if other people do know. Why is that such a common feeling, do you think?
I think it taps into something pretty fundamental, our need to know what's going on, to feel included.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When you're in the dark, you feel left out.
Right.
Like you're missing a key piece of the puzzle. Imagine your colleagues are planning a surprise party for the boss. Lots of whispering, secret meetings.
You'd feel excluded.
Totally. You might say, ugh, I hate being in the dark about this party. What's the secret? It really highlights how uncomfortable we feel when we don't have the full picture, especially with group stuff or secrets. It can feel like people don't trust you.
It really can. That feeling of being on the outside, not fun. Okay, our next expression involves uncovering things. dig up.
Huh.
Mary Alice's voiceover gives this warning about family secrets. She says something like, you need to think carefully before digging them up.
Ominous.
Yeah. So to dig up means to find or reveal something hidden, often something, well, unpleasant. Secrets, scandals, old history.
Yeah.
It's interesting how English uses these physical actions for mental things.
Mm.
What does dig up suggest about secrets?
It's a really strong metaphor, isn't it? Revealing what's been buried. And it often carries this feeling of maybe unease or even risk.
Right.
When you dig something up, there's always that question, was it better left buried? Like maybe you find old family photos of some relative nobody ever mentions. You asked your parents and maybe your mom says, oh, I don't know if we should dig up all those old stories. Some things are better left alone. It suggests that bringing things to light can have unexpected, maybe difficult consequences. Just like literally digging in the ground might uncover something you didn't want to find.
That makes total sense. You're unearthing trouble, potentially. Okay, let's switch gears to something a bit more manipulative. Wormed her way in. So Susan is annoyed because Edie seems to be using Mike's dog to get close to Mike. Susan also likes Mike, so she sees Edie and thinks she wormed her way in.
Ah, the classic love triangle dynamic.
Pretty much. So to worm your way in means getting into a situation or maybe a group by being persistent, but often kind of sneakily, maybe subtly, even deceptively. What's the feeling about this kind of behavior, generally?
Oh, it definitely has a negative feel to it. It implies they're not being sincere, you know? It's about manipulation, not earning something honestly.
Right.
Like, think of a new colleague who's always doing little favors for the boss, always praising them, trying to get special attention. You might whisper to another colleague, wow, she really wormed her way into the boss's good graces. Wonder what she's really after.
Yeah, you see that sometimes.
The image of a worm suggests something kind of small, persistent, maybe a bit slimy, like they're not being open about their actions.
That's a really vivid image. Okay, moving to something more positive, solving problems. Get creative. Lynette is really struggling with her kids. They're loud, energetic, driving her crazy. Her usual methods aren't working. So she says it was time to get creative.
The desperate measures phase.
Exactly. So to get creative means thinking of new ways, innovative ways, clever ways to solve a problem or handle a situation. Why is this phrase so, valued?
Get creative is super useful because it encourages flexible thinking, finding solutions that aren't obvious. It's basically thinking outside the box, right?
Yeah.
Like, say you want to throw a birthday party for a friend, but you're low on cash. You'd say, okay, we need to get creative. How about homemade decorations? Maybe we bake the cake ourselves.
Good idea.
It really reflects this appreciation for ingenuity, for resourcefulness, finding new ways instead of just sticking to the old ones. It's key for challenges, big or small.
Such a useful mindset. Okay, next up is kind of the opposite feeling. Take a beating. Back to Susan and the competition for Mike. She feels like she's losing, facing setbacks. She thinks round 2 was underway and she was already taking a beating.
Ouch.
Yeah. So to take a beating means you're experiencing a lot of difficulty, defeat, setbacks. It uses pretty strong, almost violent language. What does that tell us about how serious the situation feels?
It definitely signals a significant struggle, like you're really being overwhelmed or losing badly. And while, yeah, it can be literal, physical,
Right.
super common figuratively for non-physical stuff. Like your favorite sports team is losing terribly. You might groan, man, our team is really taking a beating today.
Yeah, I've said that.
Or a company losing customers, or just someone having a really rough time with lots of bad luck. It paints this picture of enduring real hardship or defeat, a major struggle.
It really does paint a clear picture. Okay, number 8 is much more supportive. In your corner. Julie, Susan's daughter, is totally supporting her mom, standing up for her when Edie says mean things. The show says Susan had someone in her corner.
Ah, that's nice.
It is.
Yeah.
So having someone in your corner means they support you, defend you, they're on your side. Especially when things are tough or someone's against you. This comes from a specific place, doesn't it?
It does. It's from boxing. The boxers, team trainers, coaches, they stand in the corner between rounds, giving advice, water, encouragement. So it's this powerful symbol of loyal support. Like if you're nervous about a big presentation, a colleague might say, hey, don't worry, I'm in your corner. I'll help you practice. It really highlights that value of loyalty, of having someone reliable backing you up.
That's a really comforting feeling, having someone in your corner. Okay, let's look at another phrase about trying to win favor. Ingratiate herself. Susan, again, annoyed with Edie. Edie's being super nice to Mike's dog. Susan sees it as a ploy to get Mike's approval. She sees Edie using a dog to ingratiate herself with its owner.
The dog strategy.
Right. So to ingratiate yourself means trying to get someone to like you or approve of you by being extra friendly or flattering or helpful, but often in a way that doesn't feel genuine. How's this different from just being nice?
That's the key thing, sincerity, or the lack of it. Ingratiate definitely implies there's a hidden motive, a calculated effort.
Right. It's not just kindness.
Exactly. It's about trying to manipulate someone's opinion. It sounds a bit more formal than, say, worm her way in, but people use it casually, too, when they're observing someone. Like a student always bringing the teacher coffee, praising every lecture. Other students might say, she's really trying to ingratiate herself with the teacher, probably wants a better grade. It suggests the actions aren't selfless. They're aiming for some kind of advantage.
You definitely see that happen. Okay, our final expression for today, laying claim to no avow. So Susan realizes Mike still has strong feelings for his wife who passed away. And because of that, neither she nor Edie can really expect to easily win his affection. The narrator says neither she nor Edie would be laying claim to his heart anytime soon.
Complex situation.
Very. So to lay claim to something means to assert, to declare that it belongs to you. Could be affection, loyalty, a right, even an object. What does this phrase tell us about, like, ownership? Even of abstract things.
It's all about asserting a right or ownership. Yeah. Whether it's something real you can touch or something emotional like love or loyalty. It's a strong statement.
Okay.
Like imagine two friends both absolutely love the same band. One says, they are my favorite band. The other might joke back, hey, you can't just lay claim to them. We both love them.
Yeah.
It implies this sort of public declaration, a firm assertion that something is yours or you have a right to it, even if others don't necessarily agree.
Wow. Okay, 10 fantastic expressions we've unpacked quite a bit from just one episode. Now, this is where it gets really good. Let's actually practice them. Say them out loud.
That's key.
It really helps your brain lock them in, right? So they feel natural, not just words you read. Let's start with freak out, right? Imagine this. Your friend just spilled bright red juice all over your brand new white shirt.
Yeah.
You're feeling something strong. What do you say? Try this. Oh, no. I'm going to freak out if this stain doesn't come out. Go on, say it. Feel the panic.
Yeah, say it like you mean it.
Okay, next. In your corner. Such a nice, supportive one. Imagine you want to reassure a friend who's super nervous about a test, or maybe a job interview. You could tell your imaginary friend, or just say it aloud. Don't be nervous about the test. I'm in your corner. We can study together. Try saying that with some real warmth.
Good one.
All right, and one more. Get creative. Picture this. Your friend wants to make a really special, unique birthday gift for their brother, but they're totally broke. How can you encourage them? Maybe say, that sounds fun. Let's get creative. We could use old stuff from around the house to make something really cool. Say that a few times. Think about solving the problem.
Fantastic. Honestly, saying them out loud like that, it really does bridge the gap between knowing a phrase and actually using it. You're doing great just by trying.
That's totally the spirit. Okay, quick recap. All 10 expressions we covered today were let him, freak out, in the dark, dig up, wormed her way in, get creative, take a beating, in your corner, ingratiate herself, and laying claim to. Quite a list.
It is. And now, here's your challenge. The absolute best way to make these stick. Use them. So we really encourage you, try to use, say, 3 to 5 of these in your actual conversations this week. Maybe you can tell a friend, hey, let's not dig up that old argument. Or maybe, thanks for helping. I'm glad you're in my corner.
Yeah, little opportunities.
Exactly. Just consciously try to bring them into your speaking. You'll probably surprise yourself how quickly they start feeling natural. I really believe you can do it.
You absolutely can. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, if you found Real Talk English helpful, please give us a like. We'd also genuinely love to hear from you. Leave a comment telling us how you used one of these expressions this week.
Yeah, share your successes.
Definitely. And don't forget to subscribe to Real Talk English so you don't miss out on more tips for sounding like a native. Keep practicing, keep talking, and honestly, soon you'll be speaking English like a total pro.